So I am currently in a hotel room, hands-on with some of Samsung's new 2025 TV lineup, and we have the flagship Neo QLED 8K, the QN990F, as well as the Frame Pro. So kicking off straight into the Neo QLED 8K, the QN990F, I love this TV. This is the 85-inch. This also does have Samsung's most advanced AI processor yet, which is the NQ8 AI Gen 3, which has 768 AI neural networks, allowing for that 8K upscaling that we see with these models. So I've spent a couple of hours with this TV today, and for reference, I do have a Neo QLED 8K. I personally have the QN990B, so it's about 4 years old and is the entry level out of that range, but still an incredible TV. So to come into the 2025 range and just see all this new technology that it brings, it is pretty amazing. And I'm gonna start off with just the design. So this is the 85-inch and it's pretty much bezel-less. It does have an infinity design, which gives you full immersion, throws you directly into your picture without seeing big black borders, and it is so thin. This TV is actually 13.3 mils thick, or thin should I say, because that is extremely thin for a TV of this spec. As much as I love the cheese grater edges, it's a little bit more reduced on this model. This does have the glare-free display, and this is so great for helping reduce reflections and light flares that you might get from big open windows like what I have in this hotel room, or even just lighting around your house or your room. Those lamps in the corner, the lights above you. As good as a Neo QLED is, they are quite bright because they have so many extra LEDs to work with. It still doesn't quite negate the reflections that you might see. So this glare-free coating makes such a big difference. 85 inches, I have big windows next to me, like I said, and you can pretty much see nothing on your screen except what you're supposed to see. It's very impressive. All right, let's turn our torch on and see how much this screen actually diffuses light. Now, of course, we have an image on the screen. It's pretty impressive. But let's turn the TV off. That's doing a really good job. Let's turn the TV on. You can barely see it on the screen when there is a picture, which is a real good testament to when you have big windows letting light through, you're not going to get those reflections and light rays on your screen. You can also see here, that's where the window is reflecting, and you can barely see it, even when the screen does go black. Consider me impressed. Something I really like with these new TVs are the Vision AI features. You have AI customization, and this essentially allows you to create your own picture profile. But I can choose from colors, color temperatures, brightness, and contrast settings based on 3 different modes. So we've got general for the general viewing experience, as well as movie mode and sports mode. Now, I am someone who does like a bright image, and I do love a bit of a color pop, whereas some people might want a little more toned down, maybe even a warmer tone compared to a cooler tone of their image. And you have the ability to customize this to exactly what you like. If you go through each section, it does give you 4 options to choose from. So when the TV is detecting those modes, such as if you're watching a sport, it's going to automatically change to that profile that you chose using AI. Now, this is the kind of AI that really makes a big difference into our lives when it comes to tech. You have these big fancy TVs, you want them to work to how you like. So Vision AI makes a huge difference to the viewing experience. It also helps to bring those older movies to life a little bit more, or those darker movies. Like for me, I actually don't really like how washed out Marvel movies are, so I can bring a little bit more life back to it when I'm watching from the comfort of my own couch. I think that is really cool. But I know a big question people have when it comes to 8K is, why would you buy an 8K TV in 2025 when we don't really have 8K consoles, movies, content? I think the whole purpose of it is for upscaling. Now, this can come across a bunch of different things, whether it's gaming, movies, TV in general. These TVs can do that for you. This specific model sports Samsung's new Quantum Matrix Technology Pro, which is their 8K backlighting tech, helping you to deliver that incredible mini LED experience, which is giving you those brighter colors, which is giving you the better contrast. It is kind of hard to show you on camera, like it is something you really need to see in person. But the One Connect box, oh my goodness. I have a One Connect box with my TV, and it is massive, and it requires the one cable to go through the wall into the TV, and it's annoying to have to do that. This is now wireless, and it's like 1/3 of the size of the one I've got. It looks like a PS2 Slim. I'm actually so impressed. But the new Wireless One Connect box does allow you to place it anywhere within 10 meters of your TV. And that is essentially going to connect to your TV, meaning you can plug all your consoles in, your Blu-ray players, any other device that you usually would plug directly into your TV. And that allows for a more clutter-free look in your lounge room or your living space. You can hide away those consoles, you can hide away all that tech and know that it's still going to reach your TV and give you a really seamless connection. It of course has HDMI 2.1 and does support 8K 120Hz or 4K 240. Some new on-system features include the Art Store that has now come across to the QN990F. I should say it is now on the Neo QLED range. That used to be exclusive to Frame TVs only, so now you can get it on this TV, which is actually what I've got behind me at the moment. And aside from the Art Store itself, where you can choose from a bunch of different images, you now have generative AI images, and pretty similar to what we see on the Galaxy devices, but this allows you to generate your own artwork to use as essentially a picture. And I have created this one on the TV from a bunch of prompts that it gave me, and that is all done on device, which is really cool. Having a big screen in the house, sometimes you want a little bit of color, and I think it's cool that the Art Store is now across this. Although the generative AI aspect, I know is not for everybody. Of course, you don't have to use it, but for example purposes, this is what it could do. I did spend a little bit of time gaming, and to be expected, it's amazing. Of course, you still have the Samsung Game Bar, which does give you access to quick settings if you want to change your color profiles to suit the certain game style that you're playing, as well as seeing quick access to your FPS counter and to see if VRR, variable refresh rate, is actually turned on for the game that you're playing. I have no complaints when it comes to gaming on Samsung TVs. I do it at home. It's just so much better now with these new models. Shout out to Samsung for the room service. Thank you so much. Samsung's taking me to the bedroom. Ow. Welcome to my temporary bedroom where I do have the all new Frame Pro TV from Samsung. This one here is a 75-inch. This is actually the first Neo QLED Frame TV, which is crazy because it's now so much brighter, so many more colors to play with, whilst still being at its core a centerpiece for art in your home. It still dims, it still blends in like a piece of artwork. This is actually fit with 4K wireless transmission from the Wireless One Connect box, as well as Pantone validated color. So regardless of this being designed as a multi-purpose display, when you are using it, you are sure to get a really good viewing experience, which I have been testing in this hotel bed. Again, for the tech heads out there, the processor for this TV is the NQ4 AI Gen 3 processor with 128 AI neural networks for Vision AI. Of course, not as many as the other TV we looked at, but it is still super powerful. So design choices with this TV, aside from it being an incredible piece of artwork, it still has the Wireless One Connect box. This one, however, offers 144Hz dynamic refresh rate at 4K, not 8K of course, because this is not an 8K TV. However, gaming on here still be incredible just like it is on the other screen. Why I point that out is because I know a lot of people who buy the Frame TV, they're not necessarily going into it thinking, this is going to be my gaming panel too. But you can make it your gaming panel because it is just as good, gives just as good color and refresh rate and the overall experience. It is something that you don't really need to look past anymore. It is something you can consider. However, because its main brand story is being a piece of artwork in your home, this still does have the customizable frame bezels, so you can purchase different frames that clip on to the edge of the TV. This one has the white frame. And although this one is not mounted, you can still wall mount it. I would always suggest wall mounting a Frame TV and getting the slim fit mount because it will make that screen feel flush against your wall and really help with that whole story of being an artwork, a piece of artwork. If you can't mount it, it still doesn't look bad being on the TV unit. I think it sits really well. This one is a 75-inch, like I mentioned, and I don't think it looks out of place on that stand at all. For a bedroom, I mean, if it were me, I would probably be only able to get a maximum of 65 inches, but in here, a 75-inch looks really good. Of course, this is a Frame TV, so it absolutely does have the Art Store with 3,000 pieces of art from world famous artists and galleries. That's pretty cool, but it also does have the generative AI feature too, so you can generate your own pieces of art. But if you want to get real personal, using the SmartThings app, you can actually transfer your own photos to this screen, so you can have your family photos or travel photos up on the TV and just have a nice way to show them off instead of sitting in your phone gallery. When your TV is off, the chosen piece of artwork will appear, and it's very hard to show on camera, but when you leave the room, the TV will intelligently start to dim, so it is not appearing like a bright screen. It's going to look more like a canvas. Again, the whole point is so when it's off, it's not obviously a TV. So I think that's a really good feature. This is definitely more of a lifestyle TV, of course. It's not everyone's cup of tea when it comes to purchasing a screen. And I honestly thought the same for myself. But sitting in here and experiencing it, especially with the matte display, which is different to the glare-free display on the other TV, it is a really nice vibe. And I think if you were to get one of these, because of how broad the settings are, the experience is, the options are, this is still a really great purchase to be your main TV at home. You just get those extra added benefits of it looking like a canvas. I'd be really keen to try one in my studio, because when I'm not using it, I'm not looking at a big blank black screen. At least I will have a little bit more color in the room. Nonetheless, it's been really cool to check this out, and I'm really impressed. But that has been a first look at 2 new TVs from Samsung's 2025 lineup. It's been really cool to spend a few hours with these TVs away from home, where I do have a bigger setup and I can really feel and experience the immersion that they bring. It might be time to upgrade my QN990F now.